PHP, that's right, one of the most hated languages of 2023 or maybe even 2022. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a very basic Ubuntu server and run some PHP code on it. There are multiple different ways how to code PHP locally. You can just install PHP if you want to, but for web development, usually people use some sort of a local solution. For example, if you're running Windows, you can use this XEMPP, which is an Apache, MariaDB, PHP, and Perl in one pack, and you have access to a local web server. You can do your stuff. Or another solution that you can, it's more modern solution, is that you can use Docker. That's one up to this. It's a little bit more difficult at the beginning, but then it gets easier. I don't fancy Docker. I don't like Docker. I like to develop on a server that is actually going to be on the end product, which is, I usually use Ubuntu servers. So I have a virtual server which is actually located on my physical machine, but you can spin up a virtual server basically with any software out there. You have VMware or Oracle VirtualBox and Ubuntu server. So see, Ubuntu server is free to use, or even you can use even Ubuntu desktop. If you're using Ubuntu as your main operating system, then you're lucky because you don't need to do any virtualization or anything. In my case, I'm going to use it on my physical server, but you can use it on your computer. Or even there are hosts that offer Ubuntu servers for very cheap prices, for like maybe $5 a month. That's perfectly fine, but then again, that's not local. In this tutorial, I'm going to use a virtualized Ubuntu server, which I've already installed, spun it up. If you wanna learn how to do that, I urge you to, like in this instance, use Google. It's really not that difficult. This is going to look very similar to what you get when you pay for a server at a host. Therefore, in the process of development, you're also going to learn how exactly do those things. So, okay, I have a Ubuntu server running on my virtualized machine, and to access that, I'm going to need to use the terminal. And for that, you're going to need to know what the IP address is. The command prompt, which is very easy to use because you have the SSH command, which lets you log into a external server via SSH. And this is what we're gonna do. So let me just, okay, TLS cannot clear. So I'm gonna SSH into my server, which is 192.168.2.5, and it's I think I did 222. Want to log in as Ernest right there. This should work. Okay, very secret password, and I'm in. This is it. We are now logged into the server. We are gonna check if we have PHP installed, and for that you're just gonna run php-v. And it says that no, we don't have PHP installed. But as a first step, we also gonna need a actual server software, which is going to address the communication between the client and the server. And for that, usually Apache is used. So first of all, you need to check if there are any package updates with the sudo apt-get, and it's gonna ask the password. And it says that my package is up to date because I updated them earlier. But if there are no if there are packages update, then then you should run then the upgrade command, and it's gonna update everything. We're gonna need to install the Apache server, which is going to handle our request, which is sudo apt install Apache 2. Yes, we want to continue. Okay, it says some things. After this step, if everything goes right, we should be able to access port 80, which is the default port for a web application. So if I type into the browser the IP address, let me just copy it from here, and let me show you the address bar there. This is the thing, the server address, right? So if I click this, it should show us something, if all goes well. And there, it works. It says that it works. See? I swear to God, this was not pre-installed. We have now a Apache server which is handling some stuff. And if you read this documentation right here, you should replace this file located at -var-www-html.index.html. So this index.html is located in this directory right there. So that's very neat. But we can't really do any PHP at the moment. This is only going to work with static files. I think we should install the PHP package, right? Sudo apt install PHP, as well as this lib apache 2, it's mod PHP. I think these two, let's just try. I think it should work now. If I go to cd var HTML and list the files, there is index HTML. So if I do something like echo index.php, and I think I need to sudo this, permission denied. What? How? Why? Okay, it just doesn't let me do that. What if I just do nano index.php, right? And just do like that and just exit. Yes. And I could save it. Okay, so so I can do echo with the sudo. I learned something new. So there's the file. So even if I go back here and reload, right, nothing has changed, because still the index.html is displayed. So what if I try to open index.php? It works. So don't mind what's here, okay? It doesn't matter. So what I did, I put a function call into that file, which calls PHP info, and PHP info outputs this. So this is an information page about PHP and what modules do you have installed and what you can do and whatever. It's a really great thing. It's a great way to check the status of your PHP. It's 8.1. It's perfectly fine. This is the latest stable version for this Ubuntu installment. But then again, what if I want to use the index.php instead of an index.html, right? I need to change something. So we're really close. We already can run PHP, but it's still, I mean, it will be just much convenient, right? If we have an index.php, which is served as like the default file, yeah? So we need to do something. Sudo nano atc apache 2 dash, no, it's a mods enabled there.com. Yes, there it is. So we have a directory index here. Oh, it's there. There's the index.php, but it's on the end of the list. So there's a priority. So index.html is going to be served first if it exists. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna, oh my god. So instead of this, I'm just gonna change places. So it's gonna be index.php, save the buffer, and system ctl restart apache 2. There. Okay, so it restarted Apache with this new configuration that we did with the enabled modifiers. And if all goes well, and if I reload this page, then it should show the PHP info. There. Very good. By default, the server is going to look for index.php in the server directory. But the problem here that we're running into is that I need to directly edit the files on the server, and that's not very convenient. So we need to make some sort of access to it or somehow upload files, and for that SFTP or FTP protocol is used, but I don't want to do that. Luckily, on this virtual machine I have Samba installed, and I have a Samba share with my local machine, which is this Windows what you're seeing, and the one that's running here. Don't think I'm gonna like show you right now how to do that. Setting up Samba, it takes a little bit of time. Maybe I will do a video of it. What you need to know is that it's basically a network share between two computers, whatever computers. So I can set up shared folders between my Windows machine, which is my working machine, and on this with this web server. And we are going to make a symbolic link on the server to give access to change this HTML folder, which is the web server folder, basically, which files which are served are in this folder. We're going to replace this with a folder in my Samba share. I will be able to change and modify the contents of that directory. And every change I do is going to be apparent in the web server as well. But let me just do it, okay? So let's just go back one folder, and in this folder I have HTML, right? So first off, I need to move this folder into a backup. So HTML to, it's the HTML dot, let's say back, right? So we no longer have the HTML folder. I renamed that. This is the hard part. I need to make a symbolic link. Sudo alan, it's L. Let me just check. No, it's S. So it was Samba dev and server. I think I wanted to do. Let me check on my computer. Yeah, it's server. That's gonna be the name of it. Yeah, and we are going to map that into HTML, right? And if I check, I have an HTML folder which is also in like this green color, which means that it's a symbolic link. So it's not an actual existing folder, it's just a link to a folder. So if I go to cd HTML and list, there's nothing in there. So when I go in my computer into the server, let me just try to show you here. Let me just test this done. We don't need that. So I'm in the same folder, which is a little bit different. It's in the server, in the dev server directory. But if I create a new file in here, let's say a text document ASD, and I go back here, do an ls, see, there's the file. So we can now effectively share documents between the web server and my local computer. So all I need to do is grab my favorite editor, open this folder, and we are donezo. Visual Studio Code there. So here is the file. Very good. So the question is, and maybe we are going to run into some permission problems. So let me just try to create an index.php file. And it let me. That's very good. That's very good. So sometimes there are permission problems, but if you set up the Samba share between the two computers correctly, it should be fine. One thing might be a problem is that when I would try to create a file via PHP, it might not let me, because the correct permissions and the correct ownerships of the folders need to be set. And I think we are going to set that, even though we are not. I don't think we are going to do file stuff at this very moment. To set the correct permissions, you need to usually run a chown command, which is like sudo chown. I call it chown. I don't know what's the title. Dash big R, which is recursive, and you're gonna need to www.data www data. This is so www.data is the username of the Apache service. So the Apache service needs to have an access to the folder structure in order to be able to manipulate it, right? So we need to set this ownership to the var www HTML folder and all the subfolders. And I don't know if maybe I with that maybe I just did an oopsie, because let's try. Okay, I can still save it. Okay, so my Samba shares are set like perfectly. Maybe one time I'll just figure out what I did, because I did it a long time ago and I just stopped bothering, and maybe I will just make a video of it. But let's just accept that we can write PHP now. So if I do this and write PHP, oh my god, save, go back, let's see what happens. There we have the PHP info. Very nice, very nice. So this is all about the setup. This is what you need to know. If you have a Ubuntu server set up somewhere, these are the steps you need to follow. Still we don't have a database, and I'm not gonna set up a database right now, because that's completely, I mean, we don't need to use it right now. There's no use for it. We're just gonna start learning PHP, and to do that, you need the development environment. If you don't know how to, and you don't want to play around with the virtual server and Ubuntu or whatever, you just get this. And this exists for like Mac if you're a Mac user, you have rich kid and you have like a lot of money and you're running Mac, you know, because that's what everyone said on Twitter, that you need that, then I think there's like MAMP, or what the name is, MAMP, it's that MAMP Pro. But I mean, you know, why would you do that? So yeah, I suggest you play around. You get a Ubuntu or Debian server, some sort of like that. Just try to install it. If you're using Linux as your primary machine, you're already winning. That's how you win. I'm not using that because of reasons, because streaming and video editing and whatever on like Linux is just and I don't want to dual boot, because who wants that? Nobody. So this is what you do. If you have the server, then set it up like that. This is how you do it. And also Google the Samba shares. And even if you have a non-local server, so you have a hosting, you can still do Samba shares, even though I don't think I very much recommend that. Some hosts even support private networks, so you don't have to. So they have like a VPN connection, so you don't have to worry about someone stealing your data. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.